For as long as I have been alive, I have gained many different special interests and hyperfixations. Games that I would not ever be the same person without, shows that deeply resonated with me on a level that I'm still hyper-focused on to this day. I spend so much of my time consuming media that continues to reform my personality, my view on the world, and more. But none of those hyperfixations have shaped me the same way as one has. None of them the same way as... First appearing in August 1962's Amazing Fantasy 15 and co-created by Steve Ditko and Stan Lee, to me, there has been no superhero as influential in my life as Spider-Man has been. I genuinely can't recall how long I've been a fan for, but I feel like I've always just gravitated towards him. Which is weird because I have historic beef with spiders. But there was just something really hypnotizing about this guy in a red and blue costume, running around and fighting people that just really appealed to me for whatever reason. Having grown up in the 2010s, just like everything in the 2010s, my, as far as I can remember, first exposure to him was an unfortunate one in that I was forced to watch Ultimate Spider-Man, and I can't lie, it was actually fun for me as a kid. Having that be my Spider-Man show growing up is probably the reason I have a soft spot for it now, even if I know the series itself is of questionable quality. But I don't want to dive too much into my history because dear God would be here all day otherwise. My main point is that I've been a Spider-Man fan for a very long while. There's a reason why my main OC has a Spider-Man mask. I adore and probably will always adore the character and his legacy. This video is one I've had in the back of my mind for far too long, basically ever since I did the Importance of Sonic the Hedgehog video, because I originally had this planned for when I hit 1,000 subscribers, but as I grew ever closer to 18 and as a result adulthood, I figured I needed one video that would fit perfectly to close out this chapter of my life, and I've been doing a couple character analyses lately, what with the videos on Nina from Girls Bang Cry and Rana from Bang Dream My Go, but I could not let adulthood begin without ever doing one on Spider-Man. Adulthood, my soon-to-be least favorite pastime. You know, as you grow up, life doesn't get harder, it actually gets significantly scarier. Once you're thrust out of school and into the big wide world, it's time to get a job, assuming you know what you're doing, and to be totally honest, I have not known what I'm doing for the past few years. In a way, I'm like Sonic the Hedgehog, but if Sonic was a slow, jobless teenager who is shut in all the time, filled with self-doubt, and being forced to be subjected to whatever the hell this is. And you can be subjected to if you enjoy the content so far, by liking and subscribing, or if you want to support me further, by joining my membership, which includes all sorts of fun bonuses. But my point is that sometimes life kinda sucks, and that's a big core of Spider-Man's character, that yeah, life doesn't really pull punches. Sometimes life will just really fuck you over because the fans desperately wanted it. Or because the writers are just idiots who don't know how to do proper character progression. Like, we wanted him to go through shit, but please, this is too much, let him and MJ be happy already. However, what makes Peter, and really every Spider-Man, but you know, he started it, so appealing is that no matter what life throws at him, he always gets back up. Something that has always stuck with me ever since reading it is The Amazing Spider-Man issue 3, the first appearance of Dr. Otto Octavius and the first time Peter gets his shit kicked in. Instantly after losing to Doc Ock, Peter just decides, you know what, this just isn't worth it anymore, and throws in the towel permanently. This is also a good time to bring up that anyone who thought MCU Peter wanting a break from Spider-Man wasn't comic accurate, or that the real Peter Parker would never do that. No, you're 100% wrong. But that's not the point. Well, okay, it kind of is, but not entirely. The moment Peter realizes that Doc Ock is too much for him to handle, he decides that's it. That's the end of Spider-Man. Until he goes to school and witnesses Johnny Storm from the Fantastic Four giving a speech about doing good in school, and most importantly, never giving up, and how the Fantastic Four are defeated all the time, yet they still keep going. This push is what Peter needs to get back up, stronger than ever, and defeat Otto. Now, I could sit here and give you so many examples of Spider-Man and persevering in the face of defeat, the most iconic one being another one involving Doc Ock, which is Amazing Spider-Man issue 33, the final chapter. It's been adapted in so many different ways, so many different times. You've probably seen it at least once if you're familiar with Spider-Man at all. So let me take this in a different direction. What was the final push for me to make this video? This tweet right here. Well, okay, more specifically, the discussion surrounding this tweet. A lot of people responded with their different takes and opinions, but one common point I still brought up is Spider-Man doesn't represent hope, he represents resilience and perseverance. And I'm not here to disagree with that. They're 100% right. Peter himself is not really a hopeful character at all. But I do want to add something important that I feel is worth mentioning. Well, yes, Spider-Man mainly does represent perseverance. It's through those actions of resilience, every time he gets beaten down by a villain or goes through life's daily struggles, every time Peter suffers a loss, it's through that perseverance, that mindset to never stop pushing, that he provides hope to not just the citizens of New York, but the reader as well. Spider-Man might not be a hopeful character, but he is a reminder of how even if life may not go your way all the time, you should still keep moving forward. Maybe things will get better, maybe they'll get worse. That type of perseverance in this day and age is needed more than we ever thought possible. The last years have been pretty bad for society. The rise of artificial intelligence beginning to take the jobs of artists, voice actors, writers, etc. everywhere you go. Downright evil people gaining power that no one should ever have. Genocides, wars, economy struggles, and so much more that I could talk about. Even something such as just keeping a job has become harder than it ever should be. Us, the common folk just trying to make a living, aren't cared for or respected. Our lives get constantly treated like playthings for billionaire CEOs, major political figures, whoever it may be to mess around with. Peter Parker, despite being a character created in the 60s, is one of those common folk. Someone who is put through the struggles of issues that are still being faced today. It's safe to say humanity has taken a bit of a downfall in recent years, but that's exactly why someone like Peter is needed. Someone who faces every day not knowing if he'll live to see tomorrow, yet continuing to move anyways, no matter how many deaths he faces or how many polls Marvel editorial may put him through. He refuses to budge. Ultimate Spider-Man's The Death of Spider-Man is one of my favorite examples of Peter's persistence to keep moving despite the odds, because he is forced to face every major villain he's ever fought head on, and well, he dies because of it. He's given no break, no time to breathe. He's dealing with a bullet wound after saving Captain America, and yet, despite it all, he is forced to keep going. He has to keep going to protect everyone he cares about, because he can't just let it go or stay out of it. Spider-Man's entire thing is that it is his responsibility, his job to protect everyone he can, to prevent another Uncle Ben, to learn from the mistakes of the past, to become a hero that always gets up no matter the odds. And that to me is not just perseverance, that is hope. The hope that even if things might look rough, they'll continue to improve and that I will get back up again. That even as I enter adulthood, as I enter a time in my life that is the scariest moment in anyone's life, that I will work through it and move forward. Because beyond anything, again, especially in this day and age where our future is the most uncertain it's ever been, that's what our society needs more of. People who are willing to not only do the right thing, but people who are willing to go through the consequences of that, to push forward despite everything that may occur in the coming days, weeks, months, years, however long it may be. People will constantly try to exploit you, the universe will attempt to fuck you over, but no matter what occurs, can't let it win. I simply couldn't let this video be done without, most importantly, mentioning Aunt May's quote in Spider-Man 2. The movie, not the game. You know how we have 2 Spider-Man 2s now, so I have to specify what I'm talking about every time? Thanks for that, Marvel. But yeah, I couldn't do this video without mentioning Aunt May's speech to Peter when he's given up being Spider-Man in the film. The speech that Peter needed to hear in order to continue being Spider-Man again.
I believe there's a hero in all of us that keeps us honest, gives us strength, makes us noble, and finally allows us to die with pride, even though sometimes we have to be steady and give up the thing we want the most, even our dreams.
This speech is one of the most iconic Aunt May lines there is, and for pretty good reason, because it very neatly sums up everything Spider-Man represents, about how Spider-Man is strong and noble, how in order to continue being that hero he has worked to be, he has and will continue to have to give up opportunities, people, desires, and more that he may want or cherish the most. Because he cannot truly be a hero without being confronted with sacrifice, and that is the true test of his will. Is he willing to give up anything or anyone he cares for if it means protecting the world for a little while longer? It's a tough call to make. when that something or someone is so dear to you. And yet, he's not allowed to stop moving, to stop pushing forward, because if he does, he doesn't just fail the city, he's failed himself. He'll always have another person to help him, but they aren't him. Every spider person is different. Miles is his own person. Ben, despite being Peter's clone, is his own person. Silk is her own person, Gwen is, etc. They're all doing different things at different times, even at different locations. Spider-Man 2 is a good representation of what happens when Peter stops moving. We know there are other superheroes around. Jonah confirms the existence of Doctor Strange in the same film, and there's like this guy who is apparently the Punisher, and this other guy who is apparently Namor, and I'm sure at least one of the people here is Demolition Man. And yet, the moment Peter stops being Spider-Man, people start dying. One person dies in the fire, this guy gets beaten up, and his fate is left ambiguous, all because Spider-Man wasn't there. Because Peter gave up. Because Peter chose himself over everyone else. When becoming a hero requires you to be able to be selfless, no matter the circumstances. I think that's the reason Spider-Man has become such an icon within superhero history. I mean, whenever I see people do a superhero Mount Washington, Spider-Man is always the one Marvel hero to be on there. Right up there with Wonder Woman, Batman, and goddamn Superman, who alone is like the godfather of superheroes. If Superman is the embodiment of what it means to be a good person, then Spider-Man is the embodiment of what it means to remain a good person, despite the roadblocks that may try to prevent you from doing so. Every time Spider-Man is forced to confront his personal life or a villain he can't defeat, he's given no choice but to just keep going and find another way, a new plan, a new way around. Kinda reminds me of that one Bear Hunt nursery rhyme. I know it's really random to bring up, but, you know, that one about going over and under obstacles. Peter is constantly faced with stuff exactly like that, where he can't just go through it, he'll have to find a different path in order to keep moving, even if it's not exactly the right way. Spider-Man is what it means to preserve in the face of death. Spider-Man is why every day when I wake up and maybe I'm feeling depressed or something's not going well, maybe I'm struggling with a script or having trouble finding a job, I don't stop walking, I don't stop dead in my tracks and think to myself, maybe I should just let this one go. Because above all, the one most important thing is that Spider-Man wouldn't do that, so why the hell should I? And that may sound stupid. Oh, you get your motivation for living from a fictional character? Yeah, I do. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Again, I'll repeat what I said earlier, we're living in a time where our future has become uncertain. People more powerful and more rich than anyone else in the world continue to exploit the powers they've been given every day just for the sake of doing so, causing harm, fear, and downright evil in the world just because they can. In a world like the one we live in today, media consumption has become more important than ever before, and for a very good reason. Many pieces of media, the ones that are truly great, serve as drives to keep going. If these characters can do it, why can't I? Gurren Lagann is one of my favorite anime ever because it's another show about persevering in the face of an impossible situation. If Simone can break through the heavens and create a future for all of humanity through nothing but sheer force of willpower, shit, why can't I? If Spider-Man can call upon his strength and lift off that rubble, holding him down, remembering why he became the man he is today, why can't I? If Shulk can kill God, creating a better future where the world can genuinely be free without needing a god to decide our paths, why can't I? If Nina can form a band proving to the world that she was never truly wrong in her actions, why can't I? My experience with Spider-Man is long and detailed, and I won't waste time going into it here. The main thing you need to know is that I have a lot of Spider-Man stuff, whether it be clothing, Lego sets, games, even Funko Pops, which I know will get me killed, but I don't care, I actually quite like them. But no matter what happens, no matter how many new obsessions I gain, I will always come back for Spider-Man. No matter who is using the mantle, whether it be Peter, Miles, Ben, or whoever, I will support almost anything this character and its legacy will put out. I said almost, but being truthfully honest, the reason I do that is because it's my reason as to why I should get back up again. Spider-Man is what it means to persevere.
Roads stretch out before us. So many paths. Which do you choose? That's up to you. Sometimes you might run astray. You'll stop, maybe cry in frustration. But you know, that's all right. For the roads, they go on without end. So look up, face forward, toward your chosen horizon, and just walk on.